The resounding slap tore through Claire's heart, right in the midst of the dazzling Chicago gala. Nathaniel, her millionaire husband, delivered it without hesitation, striking her before the eyes of his mistress, Selena, whose gaze glittered with contempt. Claire, 7 months pregnant, clutched her belly as searing pain mingled with a roaring inferno of fury within her. Yet he has no idea. She is an FBI agent, harboring secrets capable of destroying him. Would you rise when the world turns its back? What revelation lies waiting? Click now and join Claire in the fight. All right, before you settle in, take a sec to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're genuinely vibing with what I'm putting out here. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a thrill to see who's joining us from all corners of the globe. Claire stood tall before the mirror one last time, striving to steady her racing heart. Her hand rested on the warm curve of her pregnant belly, where the life yet to be born reminded her of the solemn vow she had made, to protect her child's life and to expose her husband's crimes. In the hushed expanse of their penthouse's top floor, where power and secrets intertwined, she refused to show the slightest hesitation. Descending the entry staircase, she spotted Nathaniel Pierce awaiting her in the living room. The dim light accentuated his sharp jawline, his eyes cold as steel. Hailed as Chicago's real estate wunderkind, Nathaniel wielded the perfect smile to mask his ruthless money-laundering deals. When he said, "Don't disgrace me in front of my partners tonight," his voice bore authority and menace, and Claire felt the entire room press in under that pressure. She smiled gently, never taking her eyes off the phone tucked inside her coat. That device contained the recording of Nathaniel's voice negotiating dark terms with an international associate, irrefutable proof she'd spent 18 months undercover gathering. A gentle kick from the child within reminded her, every second of delay could imperil them both. Guided by a surge of invisible resolve, Claire felt her responsibility and power crystallize. As she passed through the living room, she glimpsed Selena Cruz lingering in the shadows, composed yet watching her every move with razor-sharp eyes. Selena, the glamorous broker entrusted by Nathaniel with his biggest projects, stood poised. Claire knew Selena's intellect was keen. She wondered, did Selena suspect something about Nathaniel's dealings, or was she merely protecting her own interests? Whatever the answer, Selena posed a direct threat to the performance Claire was about to give. The hallway light caught the folds of Claire's silk blue gown hugging her bump, not to highlight her allure, but to conceal the mission of an FBI agent. Each step toward the waiting limousine's open door brought her closer to a choice. Continue the flawless charade to maintain Nathaniel's trust, or strike unexpectedly, reveal the truth, and save herself and her child. Nathaniel extended his hand, polite yet unwavering. "Are you ready?" he asked, his tone softening as if seeking an unhesitating nod. Claire inhaled deeply and stepped into the vehicle with perfect grace. As the door clicked shut, she silently activated the recording, poised to transmit it live to her team stationed outside the Art Institute of Chicago. Yet a flicker of movement from Selena gave her pause. Selena pressed a phone against her ear, eyes lit with a question Claire had yet to answer. Could Selena be filming or recording too? Or did she hold another ace up her sleeve? Outside, no one could foresee how the gala would morph into a deadly stage. The truth of the transnational crime network was on the brink of exposure, but Claire had to time her reveal precisely amid the private theatrics. One misstep could make her and her baby vanish without a trace. Claire's gaze blazed. She would use the night's artistic veneer, exploit the gala lights, and rely on unseen allies to bring Nathaniel down before the city's most powerful witnesses. When the limousine door opened at the Art Institute, she was no longer Claire Pierce, the real estate magnate's wife, but an emissary of justice, bearing that damning audio file. Behind her makeup and silk gown burned a righteous fury for all the lives buried under filthy profits. Tonight, every penny-stained secret would be paid for. And Selena, clutching her phone, would she prove an unexpected ally or the silent betrayer? Only time would tell. If you were in Claire's position, how would you safeguard your secret while ensuring justice prevailed? Share your thoughts in the comments. Claire stepped onto the grand ballroom floor, where dazzling lights illuminated priceless artworks. Yet her mind was fixed solely on Nathaniel. He stood beside Selena Cruz in a flawless black suit, their eyes locked in conspiratorial camaraderie. To every onlooker, this was merely another routine social exchange among Chicago's elite. But for Claire, everything was about to explode. Struggling to maintain a natural smile, she gently cradled her swollen belly as if to remind herself, "I'm still in control." Her foot faltered, but her voice rang out unwaveringly. "Nathaniel, we need to talk." Each word cut through the opulent air like a blade. All eyes turned toward them, yet no one anticipated the drama that would follow. Selena immediately interjected, lips curving into a haughty smile. "How naive of you to think you can come between us." Her challenge hung in the air as she tilted her head, gauging Claire's reaction. Nathaniel's lips curled in mild surprise, then hardened into an icy expression. He took a single step forward, his tall frame dominating the red carpet, before suddenly raising his hand. A resounding slap cracked like thunder. Nathaniel's blow struck more than Claire's cheek. It shattered her faith and the vow she had whispered through tears, to expose his transnational money-laundering empire. The slap's echo ripped apart the evening's facade, silencing the crowd into stunned stillness. Spotlighted, Claire collapsed, hand flying to her abdomen. Pain and resolve blazed in her eyes. As the room lingered in gripping silence, Selena's lips curled. "You don't belong in this world," she intoned coldly, as though delivering Claire's final verdict. But in that very instant, the unborn child within Claire delivered a fierce kick, a warning to the betrayers. Claire drew a deep breath, rising with an unexpected strength. Her cheeks still burned red, her eyes glistened with unfallen tears. She tilted her chin up and stared Nathaniel down. "You will pay for this, Nathaniel," she declared, voice quivering yet resolute enough to carry through the hall. Each syllable thundered in the hush, banishing every doubt. No one dared interrupt. Even Selena took a step back, her eyes briefly flickering with unease. Guests whispered and murmured, yet no one approached. They feared Nathaniel, capable of toppling their careers with a single word, and they had no idea what Claire might do next. She refused to retreat. With purposeful steps, she advanced, unwavering gaze fixed on Nathaniel. Her silk gown, once a mere symbol of her pregnancy's elegance, now served as her armor. She was wife, mother, and the FBI agent who had spent 18 months gathering damning evidence. In that moment, she remembered the USB tucked in her clutch, brimming with original recordings and documents that proved Nathaniel's international money laundering network. One call would send every piece of evidence to FBI headquarters, tearing down his criminal empire. Yet she held back. The climax of this performance had to unfold flawlessly, leaving no escape route for a single guilty soul. Nathaniel drew a slow breath, his face paling. He was used to controlling everything: money, people, even his wife. But now he teetered on the brink of losing it all. Selena retreated, her face paling as she realized the power play she'd believed herself complicit in was nothing but a trap. At the edges of the room, Nathaniel's security team stirred, preparing to intervene. But Claire would not hesitate any longer. She slid a hand into her clutch, brushing her fingers over the USB, and then raising her eyes to confront the assembly. "If you wish to preserve your reputation, remain silent for just a few more seconds. Otherwise, I'll expose everything." Her voice rang with steely conviction, fueled by the righteousness of her cause. Silence deepened. Only Nathaniel's heavy breathing filled the expectant air. As every eye fixed upon them, Selena turned her head wordlessly, lips pressing together. No one could predict which side she would choose: stand by Chicago's reigning power, or rally behind the small yet indomitable woman before her. The guests held their breath, waiting for Nathaniel's response, this once invincible titan now rendered vulnerable. Claire gently closed the apartment door behind her, leaving the lights off. Darkness enveloped her, and each tear that traced down her cheeks sparkled like a gem. She eased herself onto the edge of the sofa, one hand pressing against her pregnant belly, silently reminding herself, "My child is the reason I fight." The only sounds in the room were her steady breaths and the small heartbeat within her. Opening her laptop, she entered the encrypted password and accessed the secure inbox Ryan Carter, her FBI colleague, had just sent. The message appeared. "Claire, the lakefront project is the key. Nathaniel is laundering money through construction contracts." She lifted her eyes, determination shining in her gaze. For 18 months, she had covertly collected dozens of audio files, call logs, and encrypted emails from various sources, all pointing toward one truth. Nathaniel Pierce was exploiting the lakeside development to funnel millions in dirty money. Yet that circumstantial evidence was not enough for a direct indictment. She needed an irrefutable breakthrough. Thoughts of Selena Cruz, the mob boss's alluring mistress, made Claire's stomach tighten. Was Selena merely a pawn in a romance, or did she serve as a keeper of secrets at a higher level? Selena always appeared at just the right moment, holding information Nathaniel would never admit. She knew far more than her glamorous public persona suggested. Claire believed that to bring down the kingpin, she had to strip away Selena's haughty facade. Suddenly, her phone chimed with an incoming text. An unfamiliar number blinked on the screen. "Check container 47 at Lakefront." The brief directive sent Claire's heart racing with hope. This could be the lead to the dirty financial cash. She immediately called Marcus, the night guard at the Art Institute who had witnessed the slap at the gala. Marcus's warm voice crackled through the line. "I overheard Nathaniel and Selena mention the cargo in container 47. I'll help you." Claire ended the call and inhaled deeply. The faint glow of the laptop screen illuminated her plain yet resolute features. A kick from her unborn child felt like a breeze dispersing the fog of exhaustion. For the first time in months, she realized she was not alone. Marcus, standing apart from the corridors of power and the opulent guests, had pledged to protect her. But who had sent that anonymous message? Was it an FBI ally clearing the path, or a mole in Nathaniel's network setting a trap? Every possibility loomed. Claire refused to hesitate. She shut the laptop, sat upright, then grabbed her phone to record the details. Container 47, license plate, lakefront storage address. Every fact would require eyes-on confirmation. Slowly, she opened the small safe hidden beneath the sofa and retrieved her lightweight protective gear, the standard issue she carried for off-site operations. Next, she pulled on thick socks, slipped on a long coat, and tucked the USB drive containing vital evidence into her inner pocket. Each movement was precise. She must leave no trace, not even a stray hair. Surveillance cameras in the lakefront warehouse would capture every move. With Marcus's assistance, Claire hoped to approach Container 47 undetected, download direct transaction records, and the covert video of Nathaniel with his overseas partner. That was the definitive proof she needed to topple his money-laundering empire. She rose, meeting her own eyes in the mirror, tired yet unbowed. With a child on the way, she could not falter. The apartment fell silent, as though awaiting her next steps. Claire locked the door quietly and slipped into the night, carrying with her the hope of justice and an unbreakable vow. Who do you think sent that anonymous message to Claire? Was it a calculated move by the FBI, a mole within Nathaniel's organization, or some other hidden player seeking to expose her? Share your theories and lend your support to Claire in this perilous power struggle. Dear audience, grab a glass of water, take a moment to relax, and keep listening to the story. The twists are still to come. And please drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a joy to see who's joining us from around the world. Drop a 1 in the comments if you find this story gripping, so we can keep bringing you more captivating tales. Claire leaned over the rim of the abandoned truck's cargo bed, rain tapping a steady rhythm against the tarp overhead. She and Marcus, an unwavering ex-military man, the sole witness to the entire truth, silently installed a micro camera into a narrow crevice on the container's frame. Claire's eyes never left the live feed on her FBI-issued device. Each raindrop outside sounded like the ticking of a countdown clock. Minutes later, Nathaniel's silhouette appeared under the sporadic glare of headlights. He inspected every corner of the container, a smug smile playing on his lips as he surveyed the piles of cash strewn within. Marcus maintained a discreet distance, relaying updates via radio to their headquarters. Claire's breath caught with each deliberate movement of her husband, the cold efficiency of a man using filthy money to subjugate the innocent. But what made her heart truly stop was the sight of Selena. In a shadowed corner, the Mistress produced from her code a pea-sized encrypted transmitter, typing a swift sequence of keys before stashing it away. Selena's eyes gleamed with a cryptic intent, not the love-struck paramour drowning in illicit passion, but an operative weaving ambition and betrayal. As Nathaniel turned his back, she seized the moment to send a coded message through the module in a hushed tone. "Cargo is ready. Await orders." Through the FBI's decryption system, Claire unraveled Selena's transmission in seconds. The picture was clear. Selena was not merely a privileged mistress, but a planted agent from a rival organization, tasked with extracting data from Nathaniel and selling it to an international crime syndicate. The grand deception was revealed, using intimacy to mine internal intelligence, then profiting by handing it over. Selena had betrayed her husband and was ready to trample any colleague, including Claire. Now Claire held undeniable proof: original footage from the covert camera, the encrypted message, and the rogue communication frequency. She lifted her head, gratitude shining in her eyes as she looked at Marcus. "She's shown her true colors," Claire whispered, each word echoing through the silent night. Marcus merely nodded, brushing back his coat, poised to stand by her side. The pitch-black night transformed into a battlefield without a single shot fired. Claire advanced with steady steps toward the warehouse gate, her shoulders squared under the weight of her mission: to thwart an international conspiracy and protect her unborn child. Selena's betrayal was no mere power play. It placed Claire's very life on the line. Behind the steel door, Selena tested the transmitter's signal. She pivoted, a cold smile flickering. "I knew you were watching." Her voice carried a challenge, equal parts cruel arrogance and absolute confidence. "You can't break me, agent," she added, eyes shining with fervor for her cause. Claire halted, gaze steely. "I am not an ordinary FBI agent," she replied in a calm yet resolute tone. "I am the one who dismantled another money laundering network, and you will answer for your deeds." With that, she pressed a button, sending all evidence through a secure channel to headquarters. Suddenly, floodlights illuminated the warehouse as armored vehicles thundered in from outside. Selena's face drained of color as she realized her fatal miscalculation. She fumbled to erase the data on her transmitter, but it was too late. The entire cache was already in FBI hands. The footsteps of the task force reverberated with purpose. Red and blue lights carved through the darkness, shrinking Selena's silhouette into a corner. Claire did not need a kick from her unborn child this time. She felt victory in every heartbeat. Selena, the double agent, now bowed her head, ensnared by the law. Nathaniel might have been an untouchable kingpin, but in this battle of ruthless intellect, Claire, with her pregnant resolve and burning sense of justice, had claimed a flawless triumph. As the warehouse door clanged shut, Claire exhaled, cradling her belly as if touching a new hope. The torrential rain subsided to the scurry of her team's footsteps. She offered a small, knowing smile, not for triumph, but for the life-and-death moment now behind her, and for the new chapter ahead, safeguarding life, upholding justice, and honoring her promise to her child. Claire stood tall under the blinding glare of the floodlights, her pregnant belly exposed like a banner of defiance. Beside her, Ryan and Marcus, two steadfast teammates, secured the perimeter, inching their formation tighter. In that tense instant, Nathaniel Pierce was ambushed mid-exchange, one hand freezing as he received a thick wad of cash from the crime lord. The bills glittered on the ground like an irrefutable confession. "Nathaniel Pierce, you are under arrest for money laundering and conspiring with a criminal syndicate," Ryan intoned as he read the warrant, voice unwavering. The steel of the handcuffs caught the light as Marcus sprang forward, snapping them around Nathaniel's wrists behind his back. The crime kingpin's every movement halted, leaving only the sound of his ragged breathing echoing across the compound. Claire advanced, eyes blazing as she surveyed Nathaniel's ashen face. She crossed her arms over her chest, drawing an unmistakable line between two worlds, the world of sinners and the world of justice she carried in her heart. "Do you think one slap could ever break me?" Her voice rang out evenly, not a tremor in its tone. That slap at the gala had brought tears once. Now it served as the spark that ignited her fiercest resolve. Nathaniel snarled, rage thick in his voice. "You ruined me! I could destroy you at any moment!" Money and power had always fit snugly in his palm, yet now those privileges could not mask his crimes. Cuffed and cornered, the economic tyrant stood reduced to the most ordinary of men. Claire allowed a slight, knowing smile as she stepped forward. "No," she said deliberately, each word a final verdict. "You destroyed yourself when you chose betrayal. That slap was only the beginning of justice." Nathaniel's eyes flickered with hatred, but he had nowhere left to retreat. In that moment, her power, a pregnant woman, unbreakable and resolute, proved more formidable than any multi-million-dollar deal. Amid the chaos, Selena Cruz emerged at the warehouse door, attempting to slip past the FBI cordon. She hurried forward, handbag swinging recklessly, but Marcus was faster, seizing her wrist and hauling her into the circle of arresting agents. Selena looked up, voice half plea, half defiance. "Claire, you're better than I expected." Her forced smile was a razor's edge aimed at Claire's throat. "This isn't a game, Selena," Claire replied, tone steely. "Betrayal carries a legal price." Selena raised her chin in feigned pride, yet her eyes betrayed the shadow of defeat. Just when it seemed the story had closed, Marcus moved alongside Claire, his expression grave. "Claire, there's something I must tell you," he murmured into the security radio. Ryan stepped back, creating space for them. This trusted comrade, a veteran hardened by duty, had supported her from the start. Now he revealed a secret that stunned them all. "I was the one who sent the anonymous tip directing you to Container 47, Marcus confessed, his hand trembling. "When I learned Selena planned to poison you to silence you, I couldn't stay silent. I had to bring you in directly to protect your life and the evidence." Claire's eyes widened. The trust she'd placed in him was tested in an instant, yet she understood. Marcus had concealed the truth to avoid jeopardizing the operation and to keep her safe. The distant wail of police sirens announced the task force's arrival at the gate. Selena was led away, her face drained of color. Nathaniel stood muted in his cuffs, unable to meet his former wife's gaze. Ryan approached, updating headquarters, while Claire gently placed her hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You have always been the truest of allies," she whispered, pain and gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you for saving me, and my child." Marcus nodded, lips pressed together. "We protect the innocent at any cost." As the warehouse doors clanged shut, the three of them stood amid the ruins of a power game turned upside down. Felipe, the crime lord arrested alongside Nathaniel, had surrendered. The entire lakefront case concluded in a triumph of justice and humanity. Claire gently closed the door behind her, leaving the headquarters of sin where Nathaniel once ruled through power and wealth. Now, the former real estate magnate faced public judgment as every contract and illicit transaction was laid bare under the harsh lights of the courtroom. Nathaniel's empire crumbled within months, assets frozen, subsidiaries dissolved, and he was forced to survive in a squalid apartment whose every wall reminded him of his grievous errors. No longer did polite applause echo through high society halls. Only the relentless ticking of a clock counted down the time when power once inebriated would be forever lost. Selena, the double agent, did not escape the price of her betrayal. Indicted for harvesting classified information and selling it to an international syndicate, her reputation shattered like fragile glass. Her affair with Nathaniel had been nothing more than bait for a deeper conspiracy, and now she found herself exposed, stripped of every social grace. From the glittering invitations of elite gatherings, Selena fell into the ashes of disgrace, abandoned by all who once vied for her favor. While Nathaniel and Selena paid dearly for their ambitions, Claire embarked on an entirely new chapter of her life. In Chicago, she had been the patient wife, an undercover agent steadily gathering evidence. But now she emerged as a mother, a creator of hope. The harrowing night of delivery passed, and Ethan arrived, his name meaning strength, a tribute not only to the newborn, but to his extraordinary mother. When Claire held her son for the first time, she understood that her vow to protect had been fulfilled. Leaving behind the city of sin, she chose a modest home in Wisconsin, where dawn was no longer just a symbol, but a genuine new beginning. From ground zero, Claire built a fresh haven, tucking the past into the corners of memory so that each morning her ears would awaken only to Ethan's laughter and to leaves rustling in the breeze. Yet Claire's mission did not end there. She founded the Lighthouse, an organization dedicated to women and children escaping domestic violence. Her goal was not only to provide legal assistance, but to heal the wounds of the soul and illuminate a path for those whose hope had been extinguished. At the grand opening, Claire addressed a gathering of survivors and supporters, her voice warm yet resolute. "That slap did not kill me. It awakened a queen." Her words rang out like a triumphant anthem, urging every listener to discover their inner strength. Ethan nestled in his mother's arms, his bright eyes like a guiding star piercing the darkest night. Every step Claire took became a lesson in resilience and compassion. She carried no hatred for those who had betrayed her. Instead, she transformed her pain into power. Since its inception, the Lighthouse has empowered hundreds of women to break free from the chains of abuse, each success story a living testament to Claire's philosophy. No darkness can extinguish the flame of hope. On the first day of the organization's inaugural training program, Claire looked into the hopeful faces of women stepping into the light for the first time, and she knew she had found her true purpose. Though the road ahead would be fraught with legal hurdles and emotional scars, she believed that a single ray of light could kindle 100 other flames. One day, when Ethan was grown, Claire would tell him of the mother who endured a humiliating slap and confronted a shadowy empire, and yet refused to bow, of the journey she undertook, rising from the ashes, and of the Lighthouse, a beacon of justice and feminine strength. She trusted that his name, Ethan, strength, would guide him along a path of integrity and compassion. Claire's story is a reminder that justice always seeks the light, no matter how long power tries to obscure it. It is also an invitation to you. If you have risen above adversity, where did you find your strength? Please hit like, share Claire's story, and subscribe to our channel to spread this message. Every woman can be a lighthouse, shining hope for herself and for others. What is your flame in the dark? Share your story in the comments and let's inspire one another.